It's a pleasure talking to you, Your Excellency, Chairman APC. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Let's begin tonight's conversation on the issue of the suspension of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians have criticized the decision of the president as unlawful.
Well, that is one side. A lot of Nigerians have also said nobody should be above the law. But I do have a clear idea of what is fair and what is just. And I understand early in life, in my union studies, the huge gap between justice and judgment. It may be convenient for people who are highly placed in a society that is class-driven, where you have vested class interest. For people who are beneficiaries of the status quo to seek legal cover for huge moral issues. So even if I know next to nothing about the legal status, I know that it is morally improper for the Chief Justice of Nigeria to maintain 3 or 4 foreign accounts in foreign currencies. And I put this question to some Europeans and others who have spoken about it, whether it will be acceptable to have a chief judge of the United Kingdom, of Germany, of France, of America, to have multiple foreign accounts in foreign currencies, not being a trader, not being a businessman. And if it was that the judge admit to breaching the law, claiming memory loss, if a judge suffers from memory loss, is that the reason he should be allowed to continue to preside? Now, these are countries that like to dismiss us as a nation on corruption. And Buhari had made it a cardinal issue of his campaign, that he's going to fight corruption. You can't fight corruption and do so selectively. So if the Chief Justice of Nigeria says, oh no, I didn't commit any offense, I am just being set up, I'm just being framed, I'm just being intimidated, obviously he will have the sympathy of many, myself inclusive. Because to be honest, if there is conflict between my questions and the position I hold in the party, I have no difficulty in resolving it in favor of my questions. I believe that it is not right, having admitted to the offense, the only part of honor for me would be for him to spare the judiciary this trauma. But I see increasingly PDP taking this thing as if it is now purely a partisan issue. Otherwise, I wasn't going to talk about it. It is not for nothing that you have not heard my voice, because I didn't think it's a matter that we should politicize, because it will be the end of the beginning if we allow the judiciary to become a partisan thing.
Mr. Chairman, you know? I mean...
So for me, once that honor is lost, nothing is left.
The APC government has been heavily criticized over the respect for the rule of law. Several times the court orders have been asked, that have been given by a court of law for a particular person to be released, and that has not been obeyed. So in this sense...
I wouldn't want us to talk generally, because to be honest, it is not for me to defend,
this is not a general
wait. It's not for me, wait a minute. It's not for me to defend whether or not the government has to obey court orders or not. I need to have the particulars of the case. In any case, that does not fall within my brief. But I need you to remember that the Nigerian Bar Association, when I was president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, they approached us and we gave support. They boycotted, they went on strike. In fact, I remember saying that I taught them how to strike. They went on strike to protest against President Obasanjo's disobedience of court orders. Because when various courts, including the Supreme Court, gave order that the federal government should release the funds for Lagos State local government, PDP, President Obasanjo, bluntly refused to comply with Supreme Court judgment. There are several other judgments like that he disobeyed. Other PDP governors were impeached by 6 assemblymen in a house of about 24 to 30 members. So, who is big to say APC? Who is saying so? Nigerian democracy can't be stable if the rules are just meant for the poor. It cannot be.
So you don't agree for those who say that this is a coup on Nigeria democracy and that we are drifting into a dictatorial era. In fact, former President Obasanjo did say that he's comparing this government to that of the former dictator, military dictator, Sonny Abacha. That the actions of this president...
Let's face it. Obasanjo cannot look me to the eye and said those things because he is a worse dictator. He was worse than Abacha. How many people disappear under Abacha's watch compared to the number of Nigerians who disappeared under Obasanjo's watch, including his own Attorney General who didn't get justice?
Are you justifying what is happening under this government?
No, I'm saying that Obasanjo is not a fit and proper person. Even if you reduce it to even family values, Nigeria culture, the argument between him and his son over who is the actual father of his children. I mean, don't talk about Obasanjo. Let's face it. There's a problem I have that in Nigeria, Obasanjo seems to be able to eat his cake and have it. He cannot sermonize on morality.
You're not worried about the fact that there are talks about the failure of the government who has promised 3 cardinal points and issues of security, for example.
Who is doing the scoring?
I mean, so opposition is talking about it.
Opposition.
But let's talk about security.
You expect opposition to give a marks. Now,
no,
let's
for example,
one by one.
If you would not accept the scoring of former President Obasanjo and that of the opposition, but if you look at some of the things that are happening, especially in the areas of security, we've seen the killings, some kind of resurgence in the attacks of ISWAP, in the attacks of Boko Haram. We've seen attack on military installations around the northeastern region of the country. And one will be worried that this is a government that promised that it's going to secure this country.
No, Shehu, the problem is substantially yours in terms of your appreciation of history. Now, Boko Haram started under PDP, precisely under President Olusegun Obasanjo. It heartened under President Jonathan. The argument is to what extent has this government dealt with Boko Haram? It started under PDP. But for your information, as a former member of the National Council of States, when I was governor of Edo State, President Jonathan did tell us, with all the service chiefs present, and they confirmed one after the other, that he has lost 28 local governments to Boko Haram. Usi flagged the 28 local governments, and therefore requested that election be postponed because it is impossible to conduct election in 28 local governments. That is not the situation today, Shehu, as a result of a new commander-in-chief. So I believe whereas you can't say that Boko Haram is completely wiped off, you also cannot argue that as we speak, they are hosting flag in any of the 774 local governments. So if you ask me the question, I would say yes, a lot has been achieved in the area of security improvement.
Would you say that?
I talk about improvement. Remember, what I like to quote what this very fine statement by Obama. You know, he said, it's not about whether something is absolutely perfect. He said, just, is it better? If you put the question, is it better for the people in the Northeast today compared to what it was in 2014? The answer is yes. Because in all the 774 local government of Nigeria, the federal government is in charge. Sabisa Forest, people used to think it's one invisible area. The Nigerian Armed Forces have demystified the Sabisa Forest. We still have security problem. Don't let me sound as if I'm justifying the level of insecurity. No, it is work in progress.
Can you rightly face the Nigerian people and tell them that you have performed on what you promised them in 2015 when you were seeking their votes?
So I'll be going around this country. We visited about 16 states now. We have not only spoken to what we have accomplished, we also admit to what is yet to be done. If we think, and nobody, it's just that again, the media, I hope that you get to a level where you can play back some tapes. If I have time, and if I had known the question you were going to put, I would have briefed you some quotable quote from President Jonathan, who said, you can't fix Nigeria in 4 years. President Jonathan said, you can't fix Nigeria in 4 years. He ruled for 6 years. Obasanjo ruled for 8 years. He did not fix Nigeria. And you are saying, oh, Buhari should have fixed Nigeria in 3.5 years.
But it perhaps may...
No, what we did promise...
They cannot promise that to Nigeria.
What we did promise, what we are doing now. You see, the road to sustainable growth and development, the development literature is very, very clear that the foundation for sustainable growth and development of any country is massive investment in infrastructure, which I believe President Buhari has been doing, in investing in road infrastructure, reviving the railway system, dealing with the complexity of power, which PDP has complicated by the manner in which they privatize the discourse, giving it to people who have neither the know-how nor the resources to invest. So, but this is not to suggest that everything is fine. If we think that we have completed our mission, we will liquidate the party.